the alignment again. Here's that reservoir and the steps that go up the barn bluff right here. So you Highway 61's back here, so you cross down. Right now, that little underpass that's there is right here, and you cross through, come underneath. And there's an old Excel bridge right here. We've taken that out. So what we'll do is we'll drive down, we'll drive around the backside, maybe we'll stop here, talk a little bit about the new bridge that's proposed to go in here, is actually going in. Where we're at right now is the contractor Lunda Construction has submitted us the temporary jump spans for because all three tracks have to stay live the whole time the bridge is being built. So they've sent in some temporary jump span designs for the temporary bridges that'll go across the top while they're excavating underneath and building the bridge from the bottom up. We still have not heard back from Gabe's Construction, which is the contractor for Williams Communication with the fiber optics that runs along the south side of the tracks along the top, right up by the rails. What we're looking to do is they didn't have enough slack in the line to be able to just pull it out and around during construction and put it back afterwards. So what they're going to have to do is splice it and put a piece permanently out around along there right away on the south side of the tracks, and then come back up. So what we're doing right now, you'll see there's been a little bit on the south side here. Larry Cool is starting to clear and grub this area along here. What he's doing is everything off of the railroad right away for right now for the next couple days, and then later next week he'll I haven't even seen it yet. Yeah, he just started that yesterday. He's getting everything off the right. You want to stop here for just a second? Getting everything off the right of way for now, and there's a hole down here, and there's a whole bunch of old trees that have fallen in there from I don't know how long ago, but they haven't rotted inside that hole. He's going to pull everything up out of there, get everything he can that he's not on there right away. And then later next week, either Thursday or Friday, he's planning to do the trees that are on the railroad right away. Because we have to have a flagger, safety flagger from CP there whenever we're on the right away. And that's $700 a day to have that guy stand there. And he monitors train traffic and makes sure that we're off there when the trains are coming, and then we can get back on when the trains aren't coming. So that's why we want to minimize that amount of time. He's thinking he can take one day to just pull all those trees off, get it off the right of way, and then clean them up afterwards. What he's going to do, Larry's going to do, is he's going to kind of push, the new road's going to go right through this field, like through that farthest stump over there. So that's going to be a lot lower there as it goes down underneath the track. So he's going to push some of that down and fill in that area that's real low down in this hole. Because Williams Communication or Gabe's Construction will be coming through that area with their fiber and coming back up the tracks, because the fiber runs along this side, the side of the tracks that we're on. So he wants to get a nice bed down there for them. And then we got a price from Stantec. They gave us a quote for all the construction engineering. I didn't really anticipate them doing all of the construction engineering because we can do a lot of the contract administration in-house. They gave us a quote for the whole works, and it was $270,000. So I looked at him and I said, "Are you nuts?" And he said, "Well, that's 8% of the contract." I said, "Well, it's not going to happen that way." So we were looking to have them maybe do the inspection work on it. We would do the quality control work like at Semstone, and then all the contract administration. But I think now we're probably going to have to do more of the inspection as well, because their prices are much higher than what we charge out for rates. Plus they have to travel 2 hours a day and want a day to get here, or an hour to get here, an hour to get home, whether it's a Metro office or the Rochester office. So. But here's where you can see where the abutment is, or the high bank is here, and then the high bank on the opposite side. This is where that old Excel access bridge was. We had that removed last year. And then we, last fall, we had Larry's excavation put a storm sewer pipe from the river up under here. And it's buried underneath the gravel up here, but there's a structure up to that point. So once the bridge is built, when we go to get a road project going, we'll have the storm sewer up to that point already. And we do have that valve manhole, backflow prevention valve down by the river. And that's where Dean had talked at the last meeting about this bridge is going to have to be about 4 feet lower. The new pavement level will be about 4 feet lower than the gravel that's there now, down underneath that bridge, to get our 14.5-foot open area from the pavement to the low member of the bridge underneath.
And that's one of the reasons is we can't get to this plant over here with haul out our Class A or Class B biosolids. The only way we can come in is down that gravel road.
This will be the first road we've got that overtops with water when the river comes up, because it will be lower than the other roads along like even down by the small boat harbor. It'll overtop prior to that one, overtopping. But we've got that backflow prevention valve in the manhole back here, and if it rains, you know, we're gonna get rainwater into this or any groundwater that would come up in here if the river comes up and the groundwater comes up with it. But we can, the backflow prevention valve being down by the river gives us a shorter pump length to where we can pump that water out of this system. You know, if it rains, we've got all this capacity of the pipe coming up to here to fill up again if we get another rain.
We are working with Excel on a couple projects with this project. One of them being the reservoir back here where we were before, that big reservoir. That's not in our water system anymore. That was taken out when we put all the new plants in. We're looking at putting a non-potable water line to Excel so that they don't have to use our processed water to run their turbines and stuff, to run their processing water for their steam generation. So they are looking at putting a line, we're putting a new potable water line in, and we're going to put in a new non-potable water line if we can come to some agreements with them, and I think we will on this part, so that they will use that water and not have to use good water. In other words, it'll save them some money. Because when they take in the treated water, they just turn around and run it through the, I can't think of the name of it right now. Anyway, they have to untreat it, if you will.
Yeah, they have to take
everything out. It's a, I can't remember the name right now. So anyway, so that will be part of this project as well. There's a lift station that was back there on the kind of between the Isaac Walton and Excel's property that's never been identified as to whose it's been. We've always fixed it. They've paid for it. We'd much rather have that system be connected to ours because it's part of our sewer system, Cemetary. So we were going to take ownership of that as well. And that's all part of a bigger agreement with Excel, hopefully, that we're going to get done.
Yeah, the lift station also takes in sewage from the Isaac Walton and the house, the caretaker's house. So it only makes sense that it's our system because of that.
So we're going to go up to the top here. Yesterday and already, this project that we're going to go look at is that upper quarry and then the lower quarry. This is a project being financed by the Red Wing Area Fund solely. And when I talked to Lynn yesterday, let's get my notes out here a little bit. This whole project is about a $200,000 project, they estimate, to get it done. Now the first year they're doing as much as they can. They'd like to try to secure some grants for the second year. They missed the grant cycle this year. So what we're doing is providing my manager's staff time to organize these things. We have had our state crew work some, but they are actually paying for the use of the state crew. So however many hours the state crew comes up here, they're actually paying for it. Yesterday with the high school, is it called Sharing and Caring? Is that the name of it?
Service Day.
Service Day.
Yeah.
They had, I was up here because I wanted to see what was getting done. They probably had upwards of 75 or 100 kids up here working on one quarry, the other quarry, and then some were doing something with the Frisbee golf. I'm not exactly sure what they were doing, if they were working on the tee boxes, if you will, or whatever. What their goal was is Red Wing Tree Service had been up here cutting trees and brushing them and limbing them. A lot of these folks, kids' jobs were yesterday, pull all this stuff out so it can get shredded or ground, okay? So it'll be messy where we're gonna go, but it's just part of the process. You got 100 little hands versus 5 or 6 old hands. So, you had your Save the Bluff people up here yesterday, you had your trail, the bike trail people were up here yesterday, and the service groups for the school. So it was a pretty big effort all around the city, not just here. They were at the athletic field, they were at the track, Burnside there, Oakwood Cemetery. We're not gonna allow people to drive all the way around like we used to. There's gonna be a round right here. When you come in, which is about where we are right now in the limits, you're not going to be able to drive all the way around this way. We are going to, well, yeah, we're going to make it so we can still drive here. We need to service for service vehicles, but this is going to be a fire ring. So the fire ring that used to be is going to be here. We've saved trees all along. Up here on the Sugarloaf, if you will, straight ahead, there's stairs, and the stairs are going to get fixed. They're going to put a fence around the top so that you can't fall off. And we'll probably get out 1 minute just so you get a little better look at that. And then here's the light pole. There's a picnic shelter here. Bathrooms, we're gonna go over here somewhere. There's gonna be tables, grills, selective trees. Work on these steps a little bit. Right in that corner right over there is where that cow path comes up from Bluff Street. So that's gonna get developed. You know, the concrete tables, they're not sure what the tables are gonna look like yet. They're still working on that. The stairs are gonna spend like $30,000 on between the two quarries. That's these stairs here. They need rework. They're gonna have to hire a contractor because they have to, you know, do some work on them, literally work on them. Railing and fence, about $30,000 worth. And then the rest would be fire rings, tables, and benches would be kind of spent in hard costs that they will be providing for a tune of about $200,000. So it's a pretty aggressive project. It's one they're paying for. It's one that they're paying for the labor. I mean, there will be some upkeep on these. Hopefully, you know, we don't have a lot of destruction. But what we're going to do is put big blocks and big boulders. So if we need to get in there, we can move them, but people can't drive in there. So if we want to just step off once to look at that. So the railing and the fence, see there's an old railing up there. That's what they'll replace all the way around it, so it's safer. You know, it's never 100% safe. I think someone was asking, the fire ring is in this area. That boulder will go right where the bus is. They've done a lot of tree trimming already. You can see that they just identified the ones they wanted to keep. They cut out, and that was Red Wing Tree Service they hired to do that. That wasn't us. We will come and do some of this grinding though with the Oakwood crews. Next one is in the lower quarry, and one of the things they're going to do is there's a split road when you get to the bottom, and they're not going to have the one driving lane on the right if we're going down. They're going to make that into a walking path and a bus parking area, and no more driving through there. So that's a way to slow the traffic down. We're trying to get that traffic slowed down a little bit. And most of the work that's going to get done in that area is way out to the end. So it's right when you go through the two pieces of pipe railing that are here, and then all the work back here. And there's another sugar loaf there that you walk up and do the steps, and they'll have to fix the steps, and they'll put some improvements. And then trees, more tables, hopefully some grills, trees. So a fire ring, the fire ring that's there is going to get moved. The parking lot is only going to be like this, so where we go back towards the rail to go out to the point, this whole area here, they want to try to take that blacktop off and get it back to its original character, and then put the fire ring in here instead of where the fire ring is right now. They'll take that old fire ring and use as much of it as they can. It's broken up and beat up pretty bad. They'll take the block out, bricks and block out of there, and try to reuse as much as they can, and we'll have to find more to do that. So this is, you know, equally about as much work as the other one. They're just starting on the lower quarry first.
The street we're planning for this year is Beach Street, and actually one of the city employee lives up on the right up there, and he's been asking me to get this on for years, so I know he's in favor of it. And I've said, all you got to do is petition. If you petition, I'll bring it to council and it can be done. But it wasn't on our list until now. So I said, you're not on the list for a few years, but if you want to petition, we'll bring it. And he never did. So it is on there this year, and I don't anticipate any problems with it. We'll look at, it's a street, but we're going to treat it more like an alley. It won't be 30 feet wide because he's the only one up there. And then there's a city lot on the left side. And so we might get some pushback from these two residents at the bottom, but we'll treat it the same way we did Maple Street last year and Pine and Priya the year before, where we treat it as though it's a reconstruct and they only pay the 25% of a reconstruct cost, rather than typically when you construct a street new like this, they would pay the 100% of the cost. But since they're corner lots and they have long sidages, that would just be, you know, you can give them a corner lot credit, but if they're supposed to pay 100%, corner lot credit doesn't do any good because they're paying all of it anyway.
This is a classic example of what I'm talking about. If you look right out the window there, there's a manhole there, inlet. That's a stormwater inlet. You see in the middle of the road there, there's a pile of crushed rock. Yep. Okay, now look over in that corner where the low spot is. That's what goes in the river. That's what we have to clean out of the stormwater pipes if there's not enough flow. Because when stormwater isn't a steep grade, stormwater is a very gradual grade because we got to go a long ways. That stuff sits in the bottom of the pipes and causes us problems. So when we're talking about these gravel roads, that's where it ends up, right there. And then the next big rainstorm, it ends up into the next catch basin. So this is really one of our biggest problems in town right here with stormwater. I know I'm kind of hammering on this, but once again, look right here. Think about that guy down there, that guy over there, what they're getting every time it rains. We've got to do something with our stormwater utility. We can't say 50 cents. That's not going to do it when we ask for a fee increase. This is wrong, and it shouldn't be acceptable anywhere. And we have the opportunity to fix it, but we have to pay to do it. It's the city we live in. We live on a hillside, and we can't allow this to go on. It goes like, this is straight down to the river from here. There's no stops, straight in. And then when they talk about Lake Pepin filling in, this is it right here.
You have Cherry Street on in, I think, 2015 for
Okay, we can start going.
paving this section up a ways and then putting a cul-de-sac past the last house here and then connecting the top of Cherry from the newer development over to the cemetery. And then killing this road in between and putting a bunch of either gabion structures or ponding in so that this stuff quits coming down this hill so fast. But here's that intake right there, and look at the ravine coming down to it. It's just all gravel coming down because all this gravel's coming off of the road.
The cemetery was slated for, I believe, $180,000 worth of overlays up here. Just the cemetery now, $180,000. That's a big number, and that's not even close to getting all the streets.
Yeah.
We're talking here again.
And with the bids, when you have engineering and contingencies added on, it's almost $220,000 off of the bid. So it's just about $40,000 over that amount. When you look at, these are the roads, we're driving in right here, there's a circle right up ahead, and then these are the cemetery roads. This is the one coming up from the East Avenue side. The red lines are reclamation. We're going to do some reclamation in this amount here and a little bit down here. So it's not a lot of reclamation. The yellow ones would be the mills and overlays. Actually, there won't be any milling up here because there's no curb and gutter, but all the yellows would be the overlay streets. And then the blues are the ones that don't need it. So we're going to have to probably cut out some of those overlays up here to get that. There's a little bit of reclamation up here. When you look at all the overlays in general, like I say, Oakwood Cemetery is almost $40,000 over budget on the bid. We got AP Anderson, which is about $24,000 over budget. The athletic field is only $1,000 over, so I think we can make that work. That includes contingency in it too, so that one should work out pretty good. The annual overlay budget is about $40,000 over too, so even with the encumbrances from last year, $29,000 added to the 400. So.
Is the athletic field, you're talking about the parking?
That parking we were just in.
Is that, I forgot, we'd already approved that.
It's approved CIP.
It's in the CIP, and we lumped it all into the overlay project to try to get better bids,
right.
but we still only got one bid.
Got it, okay.
About the doors once, and we'll go do the balustrade.
Here are the new doors. You can see. Try them for yourselves.
What we're talking about is that roof line where you can see the metal edging. There's an actual flat roof up there. We need to fix the flat roof first, and then they'll come back in and put the rest of the balustrades up. And Lynn has looked at them. I haven't seen them. They feel that they're very comparable to what they did. So I don't know if Sean saw them or not. So then we won't go all the way around the building. This is where the roof has to get replaced. So the metal, where the metal trim is, there's roof underneath that. But take that roof off and then put everything back together. Okay, so then, if you remember, we did all the tuck pointing in the back of the building. Yeah. That was it, though, just the back. We got unfortunately, three other sides that have to get done, and that's part of the program to move forward here.
The quick things about, you're here to look at what needs to be done around here as far as the facility goes. So we look right up, and we see the paint coming off up there. So that's a problem it's happening generally all around the theater at this point. The paint is starting to give way. It's an expensive process. When I got here in the 90s, we had some bad paint up there. So in order to do these things, you have to put scaffolding in the auditorium here, and that takes a long time and stuff. So once they're up there, they can get that done. So down under your feet here, we've got the carpet, and you can see there are wear marks like this around, and they're especially showing up on the staircases, the internal staircases going up inside here because that's a lot of traffic. The public restrooms downstairs, you may look at them and say, okay, well they work and they're not smelly and stuff like that. But what's happening now is that they're not accessible and the plumbing is really not working the way it should be. And really, the equipment needs to be replaced. It's 25 years old. The stuff is starting to wear out and stuff like that. And the stalls are creaky and stuff. So we really need to take a look at that and get that. The water fountains down in front of the bathrooms don't work because our folks have come in and said, well, you know, you got to get back into the wall and correct the plumbing and everything like that. So it's a rip out, put in new stuff. Goes for the drinking fountain upstairs too. So the theater carpet, we've seen that. The roof, it's just like any roof that's getting there. It's Rick, do you know how old that roof is?
Late 80s, I think.
Late
as well.
80s. Late 80s. So
Yeah,
it's getting.
They've done
up.
some work on the roof.
Yeah.
Because of leaks.
Because it's flat.
It has
A little.
a little.
Yeah. The stage floor. The stage floor can keep going, but it'd be good to replace it sometime down the road because it's getting splintery and stuff like that, and we paint it, and it's got years of paint on it and stuff like that. The chiller, we all know, is one of the big issues, and I don't know if I lowballed this or not. There are two prices, I think.
Yeah, the chiller alone was $110,000, but that's not the only part. We have to do the HVAC as well.
Yeah.
The rest of the system
Yeah.
to make it work. It got so bad last year we had to buy dehumidifiers because it was getting moldy all over in here. So the chiller has to get done. We don't have an option on that. That has to get done. The rest of it, you know, if you're going to put a system together, you should put the system together so the components all work the same. But the chiller, it was very humid in here last year. With remembering there's a river that runs underneath here anyway, so you have that amount of humidity and moisture always as well.
The green room, the mayor asked me what's priority. The green room is kind of a dream that we'd like to do. And that is, we'd like to get all the beams out of there so we can make that a real useful rehearsal gathering place room for folks. And so we won't have to go around town. We can have rehearsals for our community artists right here on site. It'd be very nice to do. The ticket office, we really need to make the ticket office into a 21st century ticket office that's really accessible and convenient for the customers so that we don't have lineups going out the doors, that people can come up and easily access the ticket seller and stuff like that. So there's a way to reconfigure that front that really makes it up to date and really efficient for serving customers. The plaster paint, again, we've gone over that. The coat room, we'd like to turn that into more of a storage area, stuff like that. And so make that a nice storage area. And then production technical upgrades. We're really now operating on 25-year-old equipment, and theater technology and equipment has advanced a huge amount in 25 years. And we really need to replace all our lights to get them up to date into the current technology. The gallery, we would like to, right now, my office is on that box there. We have a production manager below me, managing directors up there. The marketing people are in the ticket office and in that office. So we're scattered all the way around. And it would be great if we could all be up on the gallery level there, working as a team all together as a staff up there. So that's what that would enable, is the gallery being turned into a true administrative office space. And then I threw a contingency in there just for the heck of it.
What would you use the space in, your office? How would that be?
That would be
reused?
production stuff. That could be dressing rooms. It could also be the production.
The back wall as well, it's bricked. There's bricks falling off the back wall, okay? So that needs to get tuck pointed on the inside as well, and it's way up there. That's
But I
just-
think we got the cause of that by taking
By
care of the
taking care of
outside.
the outside, because the water was leaching in from the outside, and that we did the tuck pointing on the outside. But now we do have to go in there because it will just degrade more as we go forward.
So, just one final thing is that this adds up to about 1.2 million, and we have, as you know, we have the request at the capital bonding thing, and it's still in the Senate bill, but it's on the Senate floor right now. It may get yanked, but if it survives the Senate floor, if it survives the conference committee, if it survives the governor, we'll have maybe $600,000, and we have to match that. And we're asking that the city come up with about 3, and the Sheldon will go out and get 3 more from the community. So it'll be a great way to match $300,000 from the city and get, and really you can take the stuff like from the chiller and put that in the match.
On that list, what are your top 3 that absolutely?
Well, the chiller. The chiller has to be done.
That's mine.
Yes.
That's top.
The chiller, the restrooms.
And we're going to be coming to you with the roof, so he doesn't have to put that on there.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to use that one. Just say that one's mine, Sean.
What was the third one?
Actually, you could say the roof and the chiller are mine. What are your top 3?
But, you know, you want to keep the rain off our heads. I appreciate that. Yeah, hopefully, the stuff that keeps you dry and cool and warm needs to take priority, obviously. But we also want to deliver quality services and get a lot of people in here, and they have a good time when they get here, and not say, what the dump.
This roof is also going to get done, this year. The roof is going to look different than it does right there, to some degree. We're going to go down to the landfill right now. We're just going to take a quick cruise through the landfill. We're looking at that whole discussion again now with XL of leasing the land, the 60 acres that was right next to the landfill, our ash landfill. It was called the Dahl Fluger land. XL has bought it. They were in
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
This road's gonna be redone in 2015.
15, yep.
2015.
Yep. And that'll be some stormwater work when we're doing that as well.
This has that large trunk line sewer too that they're talking about. Pretty major.
A sanitary sewer that sits on piling the whole way to go there. So we aren't going to want to replace it. We're going to want to try to slip line it most likely, because we'd have to probably put pilings in to redo a whole new one. There's a lot of issues down here, but.
And we don't consider the wall here too?
That's in the new.
That'll be a separate project.
$1 million. From right there to
the levee wall.
Yeah, our federal money is just for the road, reconstruct the road.
Actually, I think it was about 1.2. Bob figured out sheet pile instead of the way it is now. We put it in the CIP.
What?
So what we're going to go down here and look at now is we're looking at having a lease with XL to move our whole operation from down here over to Bench Street next to the our ash landfill there. And that's in negotiations with XL. We've kind of have a tentative agreement on that, I think, where we would probably end up paying the taxes on the land as a lease payment, something like that, have a 20-year with a 10-year renewable, something to that language that hasn't been finalized yet. And when you come down here, we're going to look at the salt storage building. It's going to tip over. It's just a matter of time. We're working with the state of Minnesota to go out on Pepin Avenue, where their facility is, and relocate our salt storage shed there. Now, we're already partnered with them in that shed that's out there right now. The gate should be open, Jim. Yeah, take it right into the gate, yep. We already are in an agreement with the state of Minnesota out there. But if we move our whole operation out there, there's not enough room under the roof. And of course you have to manage it according to stormwater rules, so you have to put in catch basins, retentions, all this kind of stuff. So that's a pretty good sized number, about $250,000, I think right now is what Lynn is looking at, just by the time you add another building onto the one that's there and take care of the stormwater issue. So here you'll see the wooden building. You can stop there, Jim. It's a leaning tower piece of the roof's bad. We're not going to fix it. It's not movable. It's junk. All we have there is a tractor shed, which we would look at having at XL, where you have a loader, a place to put your loader inside at night. So we would abandon this site, which means all of our crushing, all of our black dirt, everything that you see on this site would have to get moved to that XL site. I think there's, I don't remember the number, let's say 150 in there to develop that site. That's already in the CIP this year. That would be our goal, is to develop that site this year, and then later in the year maybe try to haul material. Or conversely, we might leave a lot of what's here and move it as we go. You know, we wanted to do a fall tour last year to try to show you some of the projects that we've done. We always show you what it looks like. Maybe we can always go look at them yourself. But one of the projects we're going to take you down to is that Fairview lift station right by McDonald's. That piece of infrastructure is one of the most important pieces in the city of Redmond, because it gets everything from that end of town to this end of town. And if we have a problem there, it all goes in the bottoms. And that's not stormwater, that's sanitary. So this is a big upgrade that is, I'll just read what Bob wrote. This is a critical station. It serves almost all the city west of Benn Street, including the business of the North and South Services Drive, Burnside, and Industrial Park. It was constructed in the 70s as part of the Burnside annexation. An undetected failure would result in sewage getting directly into the Cannon River bottoms. There are probably a couple hours of storage in the 27-inch line that goes along the tracks, all the way from the Public Works building, all the way down to the plant. The station was designed so that an emergency generator can be connected to the service box that is to the northeast of the control panel. Electrical service was brought in below ground to improve reliability, minimizing the potential for loss of service due to trees falling across the river. Or across the wires. The force main was relocated so it would remain accessible if the service road were relocated near McDonald's. There's always been talk that we're too close, we don't have any stacking here, you know, as we look in our comp plan. Conduit for a fiber optic, yeah, right up there by that little pedestal, right there. Conduit for fiber optic cable was installed as well when they put the new force main in. This was a joint Public Works and Engineering design project. Go right in there. Oh, they don't have the gate. Keep going, never mind. They were supposed to have it down. So I wanted to take you down there just to show you. Yeah. The point of the point is now, I'll just read the rest of this and I'll tell you the rest. This was a joint Public Works Engineering design project. PW designed the lift station improvements, engineering designed the site improvements. The city handled electrical installation. The total cost, construction cost was $385,000. Now we're going to go to Public Works. And we're going to get out here again. We'll go in the front door, the main door. We're going to look and see where the engineers are now. We're going to see where our new conference room is. We'll see how the lunchroom shrunk up a little bit. We'll show you the new building inside the shop. And I would say we're 95% done. We got a checklist items we have to do yet. The project, I think there was about $186,000 allocated. We will spend everything. We're going to talk about parking lot on the way out. We put up a block wall about 3.5 feet, I think, 4 feet.
Yeah.
We
see it on the outside.
We hired Frost to do that. Anything of the flat work, block work, we did the concrete work, but they did any of the block work. They could dedicate the time to get it done. We built the rest of it. So in here you have Ron's 3 engineering techs in the cubes here, and then along this line are either op foremans or asset person or locator. Water op foreman, sewer op foreman. Everybody that used to be over there by the old conference room are now in here. And the reason we moved them out here was it was too noisy up front. We had too many employees hanging around up by the front desk. Those women that are working up there, they're on the phone, they got people coming in. It was just too distracting. So now they're back here. We put cameras around the whole facility, quite frankly. We can't see out of our offices anymore to the west, if you will. So we have cameras that'll be up on a monitor, and we can see what's going on in the yard and such outside. The mechanics now, conversely, are all in that shop. That was a big undertaking. 3 weeks, they didn't turn a wrench this year. The first 3 weeks of the year, from January 1st till January 21st, they didn't do one bit of mechanics. Now, fortunately, it didn't snow. We were able to put all of our resources into moving a mechanic shop. That was a lot tougher job than we envisioned, to move them over there. And we can stop in there and just kind of get a quick look in there on the way out. So what that meant then is everything that was in that building, conversely, had to come to this building. Now the engineers have all their stuff in here now. They park their vehicles in here now instead of leaving those trucks full of all that instrumentation outside at City Hall like we've done for the last 5 or 10, 15 years, whatever. They now have a parking place. Our electrical shop is in here. Our sign shop is in here now. So we've kind of just flip-flopped everything around. So we can.
Yeah. Well, and we've got some of our flat files in here. The flat books are up here. That's the engineering copier. It acts as a backup to the Public Works one as well. So especially packet days, you can run on both of them. There's a storage room right straight above this, and we've got that pretty much full of our files as well, because we had a lot of files. So
Engineers Tech's lab, they do actual testing of sand, blacktop concrete when we're doing projects. This used to be where the refuse and recycling crew park. And I know it looks like they are getting here, but they're always in here on Friday because that's the day their trucks aren't getting used. But so this was refuse recycling. Refuse recycling went out to the incinerator 2 years ago. We now park our vehicles out there outside. On cold days in the winter, like below 0 days, I mean, we're talking about a lot of hydraulics on these vehicles, especially the arm ones. The incinerator folks are working around the clock. They get out and start the vehicles so that they get warmed up by the time the guys get there, and they can leave right away because the trucks are warmed up. They try to get them inside as much as we can, depending how much garbage we have. It doesn't always work that way. They're plugged in, and they're sitting outside. So the whole mechanic shop came over here. This is all new infrastructure here. There was a little office area here, but this is their little locker room and bathroom right behind you. This is their office area, storage area for their stuff up here, parts and stuff. That building down there was already built. It just got moved. All of the mechanics parts went down into there. So these lifts were in the other shop. They had to hire somebody to come in and reset these. These were things we couldn't do. There's a certain protocol to make sure they're safe. They reset the lifts. The big thing that made the difference of bringing the mechanic shop over here is there's a door there and there's a door there. And the other one, we had one door. They backed in everything, or they drove it in or backed it out. They couldn't get through. They also have two doors that can drive straight in now. So if something's broke down here, you know, a lot of times we get stuff on wreckers, and so the wrecker can come in here, drop the truck right here, and the wrecker can pull out of here. Fortunately, because of the winter we had, the excellent winter that we had, we were able to do this project and keep it on budget. This is a big project. We think it's a big upgrade to our facility. Since it doesn't look like we're going to be moving anywhere for a while, we're going to be happy here, right?
we've sold this lot right up here off of Lake Street and our new road to Jeff Ogden. That's done, and he owns it. The lot down here where we had this house we had to take out of for the road construction, the Ryan brothers, Bob and Randy Ryan, moved that down here. We sold that. That's theirs now. We still have these 3 lots and this big deferred or big outlot here. The outlot I don't plan to do anything with until somebody that owns these would like to someday develop that, then we can sell that off to them. But we still own these 3 lots, and the thing is, how do we market them? Do you want to market them? What do you want to do with those 3 lots? Do we market them? There's a few different ways. One, we could just put ad in the paper, put it on our website. We could market them through a realtor. We could put signs up on them. You can see the sidewalk now there, but we got to just add topsoil in here and get it all seeded now, and then this project will be pretty much done. But it's a matter of how we market those 3 lots that are remaining. First one is right here where this topsoil is piled, and that's excess topsoil from excavating the road, and that'll be Rick's dirt. Whenever he wants that for a project, he can use that. This is the house right there, and this is that fence we're looking at.
Yeah.
You project that fence, we own this little skinny wedge all the way along.
Yeah.
So if they were to take their yard and cut it into lot-shaped pieces, you could have lots in here.
There.
Yeah.
So, when we have the deferred assessment on here as though there's like 3 lots available here for them. So if they were to buy this, they'd have to pay the $28,000 in deferred assessments, and then whatever else council would want for the lot or for the outlot. And with this project, we, at the same time when they were doing the electric and all that, there used to be an electric line that came right along what is now our property line, and this fence line of theirs. There was electric line overhead here, and I think we paid about $2 grand to have that. Just get rid of it, as long as we're running new electric underneath this side for these homes here. Oh, sure. So we thought that's a good choice to just get rid of that line so that this could be more developable in the future. So there's not an electric line hanging over their heads.
Now we're going to go up to AP Anderson, and you're going to see Ron's got the print here.
Yep.
Significant kind of change in the traffic pattern that goes on up there. It's in the CIP for this year. It's bonding money to do some bituminous on the parking lots, an overlay on the main street, and then we're going to change part of an area, and we'll show you that when we get up there. So AP Anderson, before I show you the print, I wanted you to look back a little bit. We relocated the basketball hoops last year from the other end to this end. That used to be 2 tennis courts there. We've eliminated those 2 tennis courts because we are working with the school to keep their facilities up to the maximum so that they're playable. So we provide money to the schools for the Twin Bluff when they need to be rehabbed, which they just rehabbed them last fall. They painted them again. So we provide money for them as well. We got rid of ours. We did redo 1 new tennis court. That tennis court over there, the fence isn't new. You'll see pieces of the fence are, but we took it down completely, took off the blacktop, all the blacktop, put a new surface down, and then we blacktopped that surface over there, and they came in and painted it and did all that kind of stuff. So we have 1 tennis court now here where we used to have 3. The 2 basketball courts used to be on the other end. This playground was put in last year as well. If you remember, the tennis court, I wanted to write these down, so I want to tell you. The tennis court was $25,000 to do the tennis court. We have 25 at Colville to redo Colville's tennis court as well. We're going to do the same kind of thing. We're going to do the work, take it apart.
Was it 1 court though?
1 court, just 1 court down there. This end of this facility now is all soccer fields. If you remember last year, the soccer folks gave us a donation to do the irrigation. So now that we have soccer here, we have a problem with parking and traffic on this end of the facility as well.
And here's the soccer fields out here if you look out. Playground is right there. What Lynn's proposing here, or Rick, is not have this as a driving spot because everybody just pulls off and parks wherever they want.
See where they're parking in the grass there?
Oh, yeah.
We don't want that.
What he's looking at doing is taking the trail that comes off of the head bridge and actually loops around the park and have it cross the road back here and then come through here and then utilize this gravel here for part of that path and have it hook up to the path over there.
On the end.
And then where we're the blacktop surface here is put perpendicular parking along here. It's got a 13 stalls with a couple handicap here next to the playground. Then there's a cluster of flowering crabs right in front of us. We'd leave those alone and then do another 21 parking stalls here, some more crabs there, and another 5, and then some more.
And then where's the road go?
The road is right
We'll
here.
stay the way it
Okay.
It stays right where it is. We're planning to overlay this whole
I
loop
see.
road this year with the overlay project and construct these parking lots with it too. The Public Works would put the gravel in, excavate the soil out, put the gravel in, get it prepped, but it'd be with the overlay project that they'd be paid.
So the trail will be paved then
The
too?
trail will be paved through here as well. So, if you look right here where the trail does come in across the road, it's not a good intersection, if you will. You have people turning off the highway into the park, and we're gonna square it up. We're just gonna make it a little squarer. Right now they walk on the road versus walking on this part right here. So now you got people, and years ago when we didn't have the soccer fields up here, there wasn't traffic on this end. The traffic all went that way. It wasn't such a big deal. But now that we have this soccer fields, and these are busy. These are soccer fields being used just about every night as well. We just ran into some people trying to walk here and people trying to drive here. And then they're driving almost out onto the soccer field. We had to put a fence up to stop them from driving out in the grass. When they're driving in the grass, it causes turf problems. It just compounds. So
there's all of these different segments add 51 new stalls here. But these people were parking out here before, so it's basically the same. It's just that they're not going to be all over the yard anymore.
The baseball field over here, I just wanted to comment on that a little bit. They gave us money to put a batting cage in for up here at AP Anderson. The batting cage is where you just take batting practice and you don't wreck the fence, first of all, because they're not hitting into the fence, or wreck the field because they're always hitting out on the field and hurting the grass. So the batting cage right there, okay, you see the batting cage there? That was donated money by the Red Wing Youth Baseball Association. Our folks put it up. They buy the nets, we hang it. So the next thing that they've come to us with is there's a scoreboard on Twin Bluffs building that sits on the outside that was put up for that field that's there. They want to move that scoreboard up to here, so there's a scoreboard up here. The dugouts here, they did that as well. They did the work that time, the youth. So once again, I'm going back to, we don't always, you guys see all those things in the status report, but it doesn't get out to the public what other folks are doing for these organizations. Right. You hear about it, I know about it, somebody that might be interested knows about it, but there's a lot of people that don't know about it. And we could spend a lot of time trying to do press on it and stuff, but these folks aren't doing it for the press. They're doing it to try to improve for their children that are using these facilities. So when I get you out here and you can see it, literally see it, I just like to make sure I make mention of what goes on.
Say, Rick, we just had the parent meeting for the
Yeah.
youth baseball, so they made a very big deal of thanking the city and Public Works. In fact, went on a little bit about how terrific you guys are to work with and how much they appreciate it. So
Now that they're giving us money, it makes a difference. They give us the money, we do the work.
yeah.
It's a good partnership. It really is. Okay, so Jim, let's go back up around and go all the way
So
down.
now for a little downside, on the paving of this parking here, there's another parking lot over there, and then the loop road. It had budgeted in the CIP on some sort of bonding, 65,000, and now when the bids come in, the quantities we've got for this, it's 90,000, so that's 25,000 over. So we'll have to cut something out or do some kind of funding. This is the part of Charleston Crest that never did get paved. I think we've had this on the tour before. When the developer went defunct, we had made him pave full depth all the way up the hill initially, and then he was going to wait till the next spring to do this because they were just finishing up construction. So we said, yeah, that's fine. Luckily, we did get that paved coming up the hill because of the grade on it. You don't want your water running along the blacktop. You want it running in your gutters. But up here, then he went belly up over the years, so we never did get the final lift on these, and you can see how the curb gets chewed up by the plows every time they have to plow in the winter. So it's this road from Aspen. This is Nordic Circle, I think. No, I'm not sure what this one is. But anyway, it's this road that goes out to the field here where Mauer's property is, and then it's also the cul-de-sac that goes back by those couple of homes. And then across on the other side of the water tower, it's probably about 600 feet of Snowbird Drive that aren't paved to the top course. So what we'd like to do is bring these as an accessible project and assess just the lots that are not developed at this time, with the thinking being that the homes that are on here bought those from Bierman and paid the full price as though it was going to be paved. So we just assess the ones that are not developed at this time, which are bank owned. You look, some of the water valves and manholes just have gravel around them because they had to access them after this was paved. You know, they paved over them, and then they had to chop them out and raise them up to that grade. And then they were going to fine tune them right before the next lift, and they never did. So,
From my point of view,
and
this is just an accident waiting to rip our underbodies off our trucks or our wings off the side. The bituminous is 1.5 to 2 inches below the curb. When you get a 6-inch snowfall and you're up here, it's dark out, you're just, there's not a stand-up curb here. You have a hard enough time making sure you're not blading up the person's yard, especially when you get one that covers all the snow that was there before. You can't judge in that truck where that curb is. You're trying to feel it, and then you're trying to see it, but it's dark out. It's pitch black out. We're just causing damage to our vehicles. And when we came up here where we just took this right to come on this road, you're going across a belly pan, a gutter pan. He has to guess where to lift his blade up and try to plow. It's just a nightmare.
with not getting that top 1.5 inches, you don't get your full, structure of your pavement and base that you should have. We've only should have 2.5 inches of pavement on it now with 1.5 left to go. And I think that's probably all they'll have is maybe one on each side of the bridge. Because the bridge, if I remember right, they said was going to raise about 4 feet. And then it's just going to feather out in about 500 to 1,000 feet in each direction, match back in again.
The problem that we're going to have is 19 is getting overlaid or redone, and this will be getting redone, and this was going to be a diversion.
Yeah, the detour, when we approved it through council, was going to be on Mill Road over to 19 up to 61. Problem is, all of June, 19 will be shut down to through traffic. So the county then rethought their detour, and now they're going to have their detour start out of town further and go over to 1 and into town that way, and back out that way on for 53 here.
Up here is where we're going to do the street reconstruction. This part of the fairgrounds was done, what did we decide, 5 or 7 years ago?
Oh, this was in a lot of different times. Yeah.
1992. I was living in that house
When we started it. So 10 years it started, and what we have is the area on the other side of Buchanan that didn't get done going up to the golf course. You remember we did the golf course stuff last year? Yeah, we'll go through this
Go
one.
real slow. The reconstruct will start, this is 5th Street, yeah. 5th Street right at Buchanan and go that way for 2 blocks. I don't know. probably doesn't pay to even look at this, but we're here on Buchanan, it'll be 2 blocks long. That way, we'll do Jefferson Street, which is the next intersection, only from 5th down to 4th, because from 5th to 6th was done 5-10 years ago. So this will all get reconstructed. A lot of water services along here that need to be replaced, so the old galvanized. At the neighborhood meeting about some trees, there's a gal down here with 2 big basswoods. She said they're really dirty. They drop branches all the time. Look at taking them down. And I said, well, we'll have the city forester look at them, which is Bill Rooney. He was going to go through the whole project and look at trees. And it was not this big maple here, but the next 2 are the ones she was talking about. Yeah, she has her pile of wood there that keeps falling. She said just, but these are notorious for being hollow, and I'm just going to let Bill Rooney look at them and see if they're a hazard that way, if they should come down or not. But we're trying to save whatever trees we can, obviously.
Creek here a little bit. Remember last year we got out and looked at the trail. We're not going to get out today. The bank was restabilized. Remember how we put in the riprap down the bank? You put fabric down and try to save that. We had budgeted $60,000 for that. It came in at about $25,000. One of the things we're finding as we're doing these projects, and we don't even do the engineer's estimate on those things because it's too hard. We don't do enough of that. What we're finding is the local folks, our local contractors between Pfluger's, Larry, and even not so much Gerald, Stu Ekblad. Between those 3, when we've been doing these kind of jobs in the stormwater that are out in the fields, if you will, they're doing them pretty cheap. Even when Pfluger's did the wall up in Memorial, that was cheaper done than we thought it was going to be done. So these guys locally are getting those jobs. We typically go through them, and between the 3 of them, they're pretty competitive. So we've gotten a good amount of bang for our buck on those projects, and they're all local jobs. Those are things we can't do. There's no way we can do them. They do them for us. So there's a payback there, if you will, to keep those companies,
Yeah, we use them.
Working. At 2 areas. This was the big area right here. Now, you can't really see a lot, but what we did was secure that bank as well as we can right now. And you can see the overlay on the trail. There's another lift on the trail. That much of the trail had gone like this, so we tried to even that back up. And I think Lynn told me this was about $25,000 when we were done to do it, and we had budgeted $60,000. So based on what we've done before. They also did work for us at Bay Point. Along the river front last year, they did that as well. Believe it or not, that stuff washes in the river when the floods come. I mean, it falls down. They redid about, I don't remember what he told me there, but it's a significant amount, probably $15,000 worth of work there as well. So, and that's all the local guys doing that for us. So I just wanted to show you this one playground. If you remember down at Calvo, we got the new handicapped accessible. We had that castle playground that was right next to it. We pulled that castle playground out of there last year and then stopped. Right here. Oh, back up just a little bit if you can. Sorry, I was yakking. So if you look down there in the park, there was an old playground there that we put in probably 25 years ago, a wooden one, and they had burned it. So we took the one from Calvo and put it down here. Now, once again, if you go look at it, there's some paint missing. We had to repaint it. We can't get the exact color. But this was a playground that was right next to a huge playground. There was too much playground in that area for that type of. So what we did is moved it down here, and in essence, that playground probably was about $35,000 or $40,000 when we bought it, and we did that with it here. So we reused it here.
Is this a playground the neighborhood takes care of?
This is one that gets burnt a lot. We have excellent neighbors, like those folks right there. They watch the playground for us. They send me emails continuously telling me when there's issues. So we got good neighbors, but we have some issues with stuff being burnt here. And
was planning on replacing a few valley gutters up here because the blacktop's all broken up. And then of course next year was going to be the reclamation of Eunice as well. So both ends of Eunice, where it hits Oakwood on this end and Sunny Meadow on the other end, they were going to put valley gutters in. I don't think either of them has a valley gutter now. You'll be able to see how bad broken up the curving is. They also wanted to put a valley gutter at Oriole Circle, which...
This is one where we're going to come in day labor and dig it out and put in a base, because we got a lot of clay in this area, and so we'll redo this whole section.
Yeah, this is one where, like we said, when you reclaim, usually if you keep it, you do a real reclamation job and you leave it there, you're just going to add to height of your pavement. So with a curb and gutter, you can't do that, so you almost have to excavate down and put new gravel in. It's almost like a reconstruct.
But except we won't be doing water, sewer, or storm because
It's all
the
fairly
utilities
new.
are in good shape here.
That was all in the late 80s, I think.
Okay, we'll go down.
But he will be doing the valley gutter at both ends this summer. He'll do half at a time so people can still get through.
Bob opened the bids Wednesday. It will remain in service until August. We need to have it done by November 15th.
There you go, left.
Yeah, left. And then we'll go way down to the end, okay? The engineering report completed in 2006 recommended that the interior be completely glass cleaned and painted, and the exterior be spot repaired. Since 2006, that's 6 years ago. There's more evidence of a beginning of corrosion on the exterior, and it was decided that the best approach would be also completely blast and recoat the exterior. Once again, mobilization, this is something, there's specialized people that do the work. You're just as well to get it painted, get it done right now. So estimated construction cost is $250. The bids came in, but I don't remember what the number was. So, but that's coming Monday night. So to get out and look at this, you'd see what Bob was talking about. There's pitting into the paint, and if you ever look at the one on Malmquist that's right above Mike's building, you'll see the paint's already peeled there. Where this hasn't started peeling yet, but it's got the pitting on the exterior of this. And quite frankly, the majority of the work will be done on the interior. That's where we end up doing most of our work.